Hello, hello, and welcome along to... Oh, shit, I didn't... Episode 53?
Job.
55? Right, cool.
Holy shit!
Episode 55. Viva la Revolución! I know what the title is, I just didn't know what the episode number was. Welcome along to episode 55. Today I have playing with me Bruno, down with the kids.
Hello, I'm playing the... Sorry, when you said that with the kids. I'm playing Rosania Veselor, Eladrin Circle of Stars Druid, who's got an unbearable amount of Riz.
Josh, fluent in gay.
Hey.
Hey, Queen.
I will be playing Sebastian Belmont, the Abjuration Wizard.
Living his best life, I've got Jamal.
Hey guys, Jamal here. I'm having a wonderful time with these absolute dorks, and I'll be playing Kiavo Duskmane, our Order of Describes Leonin Wizard.
Not even slightly based, I've got Rico.
I'm not. I'm just old Rico, and I'm playing Tauren Goldenbrand, the Dragonborn Paladin.
And I don't know any more slang, it's Joe.
And fittingly, the by far older than even these people calling themselves old, I play Hennick Littlefield, our very old, fatherly halfling farmer and bard.
I have two really important questions about Hennick. I was playing Baldur's Gate today, and I made my Golden Paladin, Rhaegar Goldenbrand in honor of our friend Tauren here. Doing my tactician playthrough, and it asks you for a guardian, and I thought, what better a guardian than Hennick Littlefield? So I tried to make him in Baldur's Gate. Does he have a beard?
No.
No, halflings don't usually, right?
Not
I
generally.
thought that he had
no.
the mutton chops, but no
I did
beard.
consider mutton chops, but I went against it.
Right.
And secondly, what color is his hair? And is it short?
Oh, it's like bland, nothing, sandy color, like where you can't tell if he's gone gray yet or not, because his hair is just this light, sandy crap.
I nailed the hair color. Is it short?
Nice.
Relatively, you never really see it because of his hat.
Yeah, any balding patch?
Not really.
Oh,
No.
okay. So I went for slightly receding hair.
That would be okay.
Yeah.
Acceptable. Acceptable. Yeah.
And because there's no option to put a hand on it. On to far more serious issues.
Can you dress up in overalls?
You can't change the clothes, it looks like.
You can change the clothes, but you just have to get an outfit for it. But I can't
okay.
change the clothes of Hennick. I can only change the clothes of Rhaegar, because Hennick is my
If you're
guardian, and I haven't...
He's just your guardian, basically.
Don't worry, he won't need clothes for long.
Oh my...
He'll wear whatever you put him in. He's
I
not
won't
gonna complain.
spoil it, but it looks like Hennick and Tauren might be getting filthy.
Yeah. Can we?
Oops.
Not-
That was
It's
not
not
my
spoiled.
intention.
That is not ship. That is not ship Tauren. The 8 foot tall.
Did you play early access?
And the 3 foot tall halfling.
Yes, they were lovers for a moment, and then Hennick broke.
He'd be
Broke
split
what?
in two.
Oh, bro.
Okay, lovely. Let's take
God.
it back to Hennick's true love, Black Radish, who has been left in Sandringham to get down with the kids, really, and live his best life, as they would say. Nevertheless, the party moved on without him and escorted the Duke Lagon to the city of Fallon. Or rather, just outside it, as we find ourselves on the Aurora Sunset. You just teleported in, you had a little chat with Phoebe and Arik? No. Zandrak? Zandrak.
Xandrak,
Voice.
sweet voice. Yeah.
Zandrak's sweet voice.
And I think the Dragonborn was there. What's his name again?
Yeah, well, the whole crew's there.
Yeah.
But you had a very brief chat with the Dragonborn you surprised when you were...
Yes, that's right. That's what it was.
But yeah, as you are here, what's the plan? Are we sneak into the city? Are we gonna go in boldly? Are we gonna go in separately and make the DM really happy? Put up 5. What's the other?
That sounds like an incredible plan now that you said that.
Committed.
Did we answer the question of whether there's any magical disguising among us?
No, we
Don't have
we
any.
started talking about
Nothing.
slang.
For some reason, I
Nothing
thought Kiava might have had something.
I don't. I have.
He
I do
offered
have
last week that he
something
has
else.
invisibility.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
I've got greater invisibility. That's
Invisibility.
spicy.
That would be helpful for sneaking.
How long
in.
does greater invisibility last, Jamel?
A minute.
Yeah, do you not have
But you
regular
can do
invisibility?
everything in it.
Regular invisibility lasts an hour.
I don't know if I actually have regular. I think I only
Does
have
anyone
greater.
have pass without trace?
Anyone come prepared?
I don't have spells.
Rosanna, if you
Not
we
really
have
that
just
sneaky.
taken a long rest, so if you want to prepare whatever you want to prepare, that's absolutely fine. If you,
Yes, Turin. I happen to have that.
I do have something which
Suddenly,
can be
pass
used.
without trace,
as in-
disguise self, alter
She's
self.
finishing her notes. Like, as you guys say this, anything else on the wish list?
Right. I've
Just
got
hold on.
two
Let
things.
me have a quick 4-hour sleep.
I'll
I've
put
got
down my
two
book
things
for
that
you
can help.
guys.
But
Cavo,
I'm
go.
not sure if these could be causing problems. First one is stone shape that I can use to make a passage through the wall of the city, the outer wall, just break in, or I can use a pass wall.
Okay, so you can get through the wall of the. I mean, just a reminder, you can just sort of sail the boat into the river. I mean, obviously at that point you will be in the middle of town and very visible, whereas if you were
Yeah,
to enter
that's true.
via a side wall. You do also know that there are sewers in the city. You, of course, know that there was once a vampire in the sewers.
Mm-hmm.
So there is always that option.
Dispatched.
If you do want to pass through the wall, you could potentially pass over the wall if you instead preferred. Alternatively, as I said, you can just sail in or walk in. At no point have you guys been told you can't enter the city. Rosania.
I don't mean to impose, but if stealth truly is one of the options we're perusing, I perhaps can remind you all that I can turn us into clouds.
No flying.
I haven't
clouds are
forgotten,
never
Rosania.
suspicious.
Wouldn't clouds that are hanging at foot or house level be a bit suspicious?
I haven't quite studied the behavior of clouds, so I wouldn't be able to answer that right away.
500 years. I can't remember if he's seen a cloud at ground level.
She's seen fog. She knows
It may
it's
have.
possible. Fog and mist exist.
How many people can you polymorph?
Up to 10 or 8, something like that. Oh, polymorph. What do you mean cloud shape?
No,
No, I mean
polymorph. I think he could like polymorph us into like a rat or something. We just
Oh,
like
it is one or it is mass polymorph. I see.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
you don't have mass
Ah.
polymorph, yeah.
I mean, if I'm to be frank with you all, I feel that the path that we choose is slightly less important than what we want to do once we're there. I feel that we won't truly struggle entering the city with our gifts and abilities.
You do want to hide the Duke. That is, I think, why this discussion's being had.
Mm.
Unless you want to just leave him on the Aurora Sunset, but the original discussion was getting him to the Velvet Glove. And that's how this conversation started, and Janelle was like, well, I can only make him invisible for a minute. And
Oh,
he
I
can't
can
get...
cast it 3 times though.
Sure, you can only make him invisible for 3 minutes, which is not going to get him outside the city to the Velvet Glove, which is a 15-minute walk.
Shit.
You have a map of Lord Valen on your screen now, question mark?
Yes.
And we are currently... Oh, look at that conveniently placed ship! Who put a donkey on it? Should we use a different party token, considering the donkey is not with us? Black Radish is living his best life as we know. We'll use 2 Plague on. You can all control him, right?
Yes.
Oh. Whoever is controlling him, you made him really, really small.
Oh.
So if that's our problem, then polymorph should be back on the table then, in my opinion.
I don't mind
Like,
being
just-
a hamster
to just-
if it's required.
Perhaps something more regal than a hamster, Lord Lego.
Not a cat.
A
I'm
mouse?
allergic.
I'll look over at Sebastian, and I'll pull Legon.
I haven't even thought about
I'll sort of like push Legon a little further away from Sebastian.
Are you serious?
He sort of looks over and he's like, Sebastian doesn't seem to affect me in the same way.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I've been
Hear that,
casting lesser
Sebastian?
restoration on
Must
you
be
this
the
whole
human
time.
in the cat.
Perhaps.
Those little. We had a ginger. Come to think of it, maybe I was just allergic to its owner. My wife had a fluffy ginger cat. He has told you about his absolute despising of his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Devil spawn.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going
Could
to turn me into an
we-
animal?
Could we sail the river and get to this point where the royal palace is, and then perhaps? Ah, okay.
So you do know that the royal palace does have a harbour. It is incredibly well guarded and walled. Walled off. Yeah. You could. So you've got the working docks over here. You would have to pass through a gate at the city entrance here. You would also have to pass through a second gate at the main wall if you want to pass past there. The noble docks are this side and this side. You've also got the temple docks, and you've also got the royal palace docks. There are a couple of working docks over here, but they tend to be a little dodgy, and a boat the size of the Aurora Sunset wouldn't even be able to attempt to dock there. And they're sort of like little tiny skiffs and rowing boats. Mostly to shuttle things across the river this way.
The outside of the city, like I think I know there's a poor quadrant on the inside of the wall, but if I remember correctly, there was also some sort of like poorer environs outside
100%,
the city.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, I mean, obviously not on the river necessarily, although there is a dock outside where people who don't want to pay the tax to bring stuff into the city but are delivering it outside, such as grain for the stables, stop there. Again, it's a small dock for the Aurora Sunset. You'd have to bully all the tiny little boats out of the way. But you're currently at anchor in the middle of the river. But surrounding the entire city are sort of market stalls, tents, various different sort of smaller buildings. It's not the area I think that you might be thinking of, which was Harbondon, where we had like a whole place outside. But it's just, yeah, people have put up tents,
no.
and little shacks and all sorts. It's even poorer than the poor quarters.
It's not like it's a walled city surrounded by open plain that you can't walk up to the wall. Like we could probably fairly inconspicuously wander through these
100%.
tents in the areas up against the wall.
Nobody would pay you two iotas of notice unless you approach one of the main gates.
Right.
Torin, why did you want to go to the royal palace?
Well, Legon mentioned that he'd wanted us to speak to the king and queen, no?
He did.
I don't see why we shouldn't do that. We can... Actually, I really do like that plan.
You can't. You were told, however, you can't dock.
Who said anything about docking? I have water breathing.
Torrent. That's what I was replying to. Oh, you want us to swim in? You'll still have
You
to
mentioned
get
there was a sewer.
to the harbour bit, right? Yeah. I mean, you could swim through the sewage if you want.
Some like
Well, I don't
navy
think
shit.
we can bring the Duke directly to the palace because we know that that there are some folks sort of keeping an eye on the king and the queen. It was sort of I don't know, kind of a hassle for us to get in to speak to them, and I think that was because the people in charge of guarding outside are sort of on the pay.
You also
Like,
remember that
it's-
they were watching magically as well. There was magic when you came in.
Nevertheless, that area, that sort of northwestern part of the city, if we could pop through the wall someplace and just quietly make our way to Velvet Glove, which is, I think, where we hope that they'll be able to hold on to the Duke for a time. That might be our best shot, and then we're at least still nearby if we want to go talk ourselves to the king and queen.
So just to give you a couple of, let me just to give a couple of pointers. This area here is the richest part of the noble district, and these areas here with these sort of houses are sort of still quite expensive. This is the working quarter. These are sort of very extravagant noble houses here and guild houses. So obviously, if you're coming this way, you're going through like sort of the noble area. Alternatively, if you want to sort of work through the paupers district and some of the lesser working areas, you might have a chance, or you could go across the very busy bridge. Totally up to you how you want to approach it. But just obviously, I haven't labeled all the different areas.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
whoever's got that measure up now, that's what I was kind of thinking. Just that sort
Like
of
something like that.
north
right? Just
wall,
like
boom, straight.
okay.
Maybe make
Yeah.
our way through
straight
side streets or something, but
Yeah.
you know, pretty much dead center north. But we'd have to get out and walk around from the river. No problem, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you can get to shore, really. There's a gangplank they can let out, or they can row you over in a skiff.
Well, if Kiava's got a way through the wall, that might be the best.
Sure, I can get us through or over the wall. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's over as well.
Oh, perhaps through is a little less conspicuous, Keva.
Well, so long as the wall isn't 20 feet 20 feet deep, then we have
You would know it.
an easy way through. Yeah, then I can take us through a wall at any point. I can take us straight out into, if we line it up right, I could take us right out behind a bunch of the houses of the slums. How should I put it? Should be pretty much unnoticed.
I mean, still, I think we need to do something to make the Duke less obvious, invisible, or some other form. But the rest of us, hopefully, we can just sort of sneak from there.
I was looking forward to being a hamster. That plan changed.
Well, I don't think so. Lasagna,
Can I
just help us out here.
Can I quickly ritually cast augury on this plan?
Any specific elements
I'll be
you're
right back.
curious about?
I'm just intrigued as to the street choice that we made, because obviously we discussed about going from the north, right? Is that a good decision? What do I get?
Seems to bode well.
Okay, then I'm ready. I've gotten all my doubt cast away by my stones, and I will turn.
And what form does augury take? Are you sort of calling out to the stars? Are you rolling bones? Are you what's going on?
Since you're allowing me to flavor it,
Is it what the fuck you like?
Rosania would pour a lovely tea for everyone before we head out, and she'd be reading the leaves on the teacups to determine whether or not there's good fate or bad fate for us.
And yeah, it seems that the augurs are generally auspicious.
Good. That's good. I like when the universe tells me to do something.
And will you kindly turn the Duke into?
Yes, that one I cannot ritual cast. Anyone want to take a pick on what I turn him into?
That hamster sounds perfect.
Yeah, something that'll fit into one of our pockets, I guess.
I was thinking you meant like take a picture once he's turned into a hamster.
Oh no, I was gonna let you pick.
Take a pic of him being a hamster.
If you truly want a hamster, I'll just.
Hamster
There's a reason I
selfie.
want a hamster. He wants to be specifically this hamster.
Don't make him a
This-
giant. This hamster.
This hamster.
Which hamster?
Sorry, I thought it was going to just happen, but it's loading in the Beldania chat channel.
I see. Well, when it does load, I mean, Rosania has no quarrels. She will turn him into. Oh,
Oh.
okay. Rosania is going to cut a piece of cloth,
Oh,
turn the
God.
dick into a hamster, make him a little outfit, put a little spyglass on him, and he's done. He is that hamster now.
His peanut.
He is the hamster he wishes to be.
It's so good.
I love it.
Oh,
Why is this being
that's
so
all
difficult?
from me.
Sorry, I'll just... Cool. So, big on the hamster. You guys heading up to the... you're getting out the boat. You're wandering through the outside sort of tents and the poorest of districts, I guess. Yes? Are you
Yes.
talking to anyone? Are you doing anything in particular? What are you wearing? I mean, not literally like everybody describe your clothing, but like Are you making any effort to blend in, or are you walking through looking like the rich, powerful people that you are? And Hennig.
I'm not changing nothing.
I'll change into some more common clothes that I carry around.
I'm going to take my hat off and put it on top of Mike's mushroom cap.
I'm just gonna take
So
like
that
the
he-
cloak / cape that I wear and just like sort of like cover myself with it.
Or actually, what I'll specifically do is I'll wear the clothes over my robe. You know, just sort of hike up a bunch of robe and just bunch it up and just clothes over the top of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got like a big sandy scarf in the desert, and I'll put that around Mike and stuff, so he kind of looks more like just like a bundled person with a hat on, and I'll just
Cool.
be
Love
me.
that for Mike.
Follow
Sebastian
the
looks
lead.
exactly as wonderful as Sebastian has ever looked.
Hence my lack of other effort at changing my own appearance.
Torin?
Yeah.
What's Torin looking like?
I've literally just taken my cloak and sort of just like wrapped my body in it. So
Okay.
like I'm obviously still Torin, just like not with like
Yeah, but I mean, golden,
swords and armor
uh,
like gleaming about.
What about your
golden
mask?
dragonborn aren't that rare, right? But you do glint
I
quite
think
brightly.
The mask is kind of fused to my face.
Okay.
So yeah.
So okay, you guys draw a few curious glances, but most people in the really poor outskirt districts try not to look at anyone too closely. It's a good way to get stabbed or a disease. So people sort of stay.
we got 2 8-foot tall mofos walking
Yeah,
with us,
you
right?
do
Like,
notice
we're a
that
little-
you're not that tall in this area. There are
Oh.
various other tall creatures. So specifically, Goliaths are quite shunned in areas, so a lot of them are quite poor, and they're often hired as bodyguards for those other smaller people. Nevertheless, as you make your way along the edge of the city walls, you do at one point see that you're going to have to cross the main thoroughfare up to the north. It is guarded. Give me a perception check, Rosania and Sebastian.
I'd like to guidance myself. please.
Sebastian, this is for hearing, if that is relevant. Rosania, it's for sight. Yeah, you can give it guidance, no problem. No, you can't. Do not give yourself guidance. You will turn the Duke back into a human.
Oh yes, no, you're right. They're too. Yep. No guidance for me.
Do you know why I knew that? Because Baldur's Gate again, I accidentally
Because
cancelled
of
my
Baldur's Gate.
day-long Shield of Faith by casting guidance. I was pissed.
Yeah.
Sebastian,
your
you've got
pain.
4.
You don't have advantage on hearing checks?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
If you want to give me it, I'll roll again.
No, I don't. Is that
Okay.
Kiavo that has advantage to hear them?
I have advantage on eyesight-based ones because of Divisor.
Oh, okay. I just confused.
Do you want me? Should I roll? Should I roll
No,
one
no,
of
this is to
as well?
smell. This is to hear something, and it's not something that I think you would hear. Okay, so you didn't hear anything out of the usual. There's a lot of general clamour and clatter going on. The perception check for sight from Rosania was a
19. It was a 19.
cool. So you do see that the guards on this thoroughfare do seem to be huddled around something, and their focus is well away from you. They're grouped up on the road in sort of a circle. Their backs to them, all around something.
I sense trouble ahead.
Can I see with my sort of height and advantage on perception?
You can all see the same thing, that they're grouped around something. Whatever it
They're just,
is,
like,
it's
standing
lower
around
than them.
something?
No, they're like shoulder to shoulder, like really close, and it's obviously quite low down. They're hunched over
Oh.
it. So none of you are able to see what it is.
Oh,
Let's see. Perhaps we use this momentary distraction to just move along. And I'll sort of try to like push us along a little
Yeah,
hurriedly.
I'll just slide alongside as well and keep moving.
Get out of here.
Okay. You guys are able to pass the thoroughfare and maneuver along.
Actually,
Survival check, please, from Corin and Bastian.
do we care about what those guards were huddled around, or are we really not bothered?
I mean, like, I'm curious, but I think that
Is it worth the use of my resources? Is the question.
I'm on the clock. I don't know about you. I've got a
You've
job
got
to
about
do.
40
never
minutes
mind.
left on polymorph, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You can-
I'm not risking
I
it.
mean, if you want to burn, like, what, but like,
I,
kind of.
I was saying I could just waltz up to them invisible and take a look. You know,
You would know
Why
that it'd be
not?
very hard to see what they're huddled around, even while invisible at your size, because you would need to sort of right over them, which might.
oh,
them.
right. Okay, so there's not enough.
They are
gap
like they are
around
right round it, like,
really in place.
really tight
Right, okay.
circle. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gun for his shoulders.
Never mind then.
Once we're safely out of the area, I suppose I could send that butterfly back across the top.
Oh.
To get a
Mm.
higher
You-
viewpoint. I
yeah,
don't know
I
if it's
mean,
worth it.
You
It's kind of
cast a little way
conspicuous.
back, but you can send the butterfly back.
I like that.
Don't want to lose it.
I like that.
You can send it to the height.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a corner, we can pause that for a moment. I think that's worth doing. I can't remember exactly how beast sense works, but that's what it gives me.
Yeah. As you send it over, you see that there is a fox, sort of curled over, snarling at the guards. And as it snarls, you see that its teeth are made of pure silver. Indeed, its eyes shine a bit silver as well.
I'll sort of describe that to everybody else. I think it's probably like being unfamiliar. You can see, but I can probably still talk to everybody or pop in and out.
Oh, that's a question. Sorry, just to hold you there, Joe. Would you have brought
Yeah.
Gia with you on this journey? Or left her on the Aurora Sunset?
Oh,
She came with you, didn't she?
Yeah.
she did, didn't she? Did she express any interest in joining us?
She's not that bothered
I
about
don't-
politics, but thinks it might be a bit of an adventure.
Like, I don't know that we would have been like, come along, Gia.
Well, I mean, you
probably-
brought her
like-
to the Aurora Sunset. Would you just walked off without her, or?
True.
I would have invited her.
Okay.
She is my elven
Yeah,
bestie.
she's very welcome to come along. She's very interested in coming along. Okay.
Unless you
Sorry,
guys don't
Henrik.
want her to
You've seen this through the butterfly. Do you see through the butterfly, or does it report to you?
So basically, it gives me the what's it called? Benefits of the beast sense spell. So it's kind of like a familiar. I can use my
Yeah,
action
cool.
to see through the beast's eyes and hear what it hears.
Nice.
And you were doing
Continue.
so, yeah?
Yeah, for up to an hour. So
In that
it's just-
case, you hear a high-pitched whining noise that sounds almost metallic in nature. Far higher pitched than anything you would expect from a fox, and almost painful to listen to. The beast's eyes appear to be silver, as do its teeth. Though the rest of it seems natural.
Yeah, so I think I've seen enough, and I don't want to risk the butterfly or getting caught. So I direct it to come back and then pop out of its senses and just tell everybody. I mean, you know, there's some sort of a. I mean, at first I thought it was just they were just concerned as any town guards would be of a rabid fox or something. But this fox is it looks like an animal, but it's got weird silvery teeth and eyes and some sort of strange high pitched noise.
Creature of my
It's-
father's. Grandfather's. I never. But what's wrong with me? My family tree's screwed. Gia will tell you it's a creature of her grandfather's. They are rare and most difficult to conjure.
What are they, Gia?
They are similar to a familiar, last a period of time, and have the ability to communicate directly. And some magics of their own, and independent of thought. Takes a long time to build bond and to create one over time. As my grandfather has spared one so willingly in such a area where it's likely to be seen. Does not bode well.
And it sounds like they're capable of enough we can't know for sure exactly what its purpose was here.
Indeed, usually they're used to listen. Grandfather's method.
I think we can be certain of it, Gia. Foxes are good for two things: hunting and what you said.
Well, it looks like for now the guards have gotten that one, but we kind of have to assume that if your grandpa had interest in this, that he'll try something else. So we need to be on
Guards
our
won't be
guard.
able to keep that subdued. I think. Maybe it is. They have magic.
I see.
But escape and go on about its business, or just get away?
That I don't know.
Right.
Do you think we should follow that fox?
Lead us this way.
Yeah, I think we need to. We have enough problems at the moment, and it's not only ourselves we're responsible for. So, let's get the Duke to safety.
She said, if you don't mind, I'll take a moment to tell my brother, though. And she will
That's
put her
fine.
hand on her book. Say that
I thought her
just
brother
have-
was evil.
action. Oh, no. Her brother is
brother is-
out in Beldania trying to remove all the problems that were caused. So, do you remember you went to the big sand block? He's trying to remove similar problems in the land of the gnomes, in the land of the Tabaxi, that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
He's got he's a very strong druid, and he has the ability to speak to primordials. Tell some of the cow that is of a token.
Yeah, I was just under the impression that he was somehow allied with her father.
There was a worry he was very close to their father when growing up, and Dia was worried that her grandfather might be able to sway him to their.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Right.
as
Yeah.
long as he doesn't interact directly, he's hoping that he'll do the right thing.
So we are slightly weary of him.
A little wary of like sending him off to fight his grandfather.
More than
Yeah.
Gia, basically.
But you're not wary of him dealing with like environmental stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Gia might be completely useless in the end fight because she might be unwilling to hurt anyone. So it's a one half a dozen of the other.
And thus hurting everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, you were moving along outside the castle. I asked for a couple of survival checks. Sebastian
Yes,
and Torrin.
I
Yeah, we
rolled
both got
awful.
10.
Yeah, awful rolls. I thought I rolled a 20, but I rolled a 2.
Okay. Please. Yes, we. Please roll me a d20.
God. Seven.
Broken. That's not bad. That's not bad. You're not quite where you wanted to be, but there is no indication of what's inside the city from where you are outside. This is the best guess that Torrin can make. Sebastian, I'm afraid you just failed, so you're unable to call. As far as you can guess, this is the best place to come through with.
Go on then, Kiava.
Okay. Then I shall go right ahead and cast Passport and create that passageway.
Okay. Does this make a hole in the wall, or does it allow you to pass through solid wall?
So what
question.
Passport does is it basically creates a passage. It doesn't say whether it's a tunnel or what, but it says
A doorway or
it-
something, maybe.
Yeah, it's just a passage. So I just choose the openings dimensions.
Yeah, yeah.
up
So
to
you
5
make
feet
a
wide
you are
open top.
making a hole. You are not moving through it like molded
Mhm,
stones.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. So you open up a passageway, and you guys begin to walk through. And standing at the other end of the passageway, a little far back, leaning against a house, is a man. And he is just staring at you. His jaw is dropped. He looks to be elven. He's dressed in pauper's clothing. He's holding a bottle or something, and he's just looking.
As we walk by him, I'll sort of like give him a wink, and I'll take the bottle off his hands, and take a swig, put it back in his hands, and I'll hand him a gold coin, and I'll say, "Never happened."
First of all, he looks at his bottle like, what the hell am I drinking? And then he looks at the coin, and it's more money than he's had in like his entire life. And then he looks at the hole in the wall. The Dragonborn. He puts the bottle on the floor, steps back from it warily, bites the coin to make sure it's real, and runs off into the district.
And I'll turn around and...
What he was drinking was very strong liquor.
Nice.
Nice. I'll turn around and attempt to dispel at 3rd level the wall.
I think you need to turn it off.
Can't
no,
you just, like...
it's a time duration thing on the thing.
Oh.
So I'm going to attempt to dispel it. That one fails, so I'm going to cast it again.
Does it fail? What's your int?
I rolled a 5. I need to basically, with my modifier, get at least 14. No, 15.
I'll will your
No,
next
you're
hit.
confused.
It helps.
Just you're making an int check. Yes.
Yeah, I was just rolling a d20. I rolled a 5.
No, you don't just roll a d20. You make an int check. Right. So.
Okay, sure, that'd be 10.
You're looking. Okay. The 5th level spell?
Yeah.
Your first spell magic.
Yeah, so I'll just try it again. Oh, that works. 19. Yeah, I dispelled it all. No evidence left behind, you see.
Yeah. Spell the wall, and you guys find yourselves in. There's burning village instead of fishing village. Never good.
No.
Set fire to it.
Things have gotten really bad really fast here in town.
Yeah, there are people about. There's this sort of 4 or 5 foot wide canal running through the center of this district. It's dirty water, but it seems its primary use doesn't seem to be the water itself, but traffic. There aren't people going on it, but instead you see lots of people putting baskets on it, or other things that float with sort of scrolls or notes or such. Just everybody putting them on. In fact, some people are folding up weird origami boats out of parchment, putting them on the canal and giving them to go. The water flows very quickly.
Before everyone heads off, if Sebastian has a moment, I would like to approach him.
You're all together.
Ideally, I'd like to approach him when we're like, I'd wait until
Almost
everybody's like a few.
Nudging
Yeah,
him round the side of a wall. Yeah.
Not too like, oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna sneak, but just a private duo, and I'll say, Sebastian, I've been observing you over the last few weeks, and I've noticed you tend to be quite analytical and cold with your thinking. Yes, you do tend to treat yourself, but I suppose when your life is at stake, making the right decisions is your priority. So, I wanted to ask you, what do you make of Gia?
That was a roundabout way of asking that question.
I needed to give you like an interlude.
I was like, as you was going through it, I was like, where are you going with this? What do I make of Gia?
I'm role-playing.
We've not spent that much time with her / getting to know her, so I don't really think much of her, to be honest. I think her understanding of magic is useful, and her understanding of what her family could be doing is useful. But in terms of personally, I don't really know much of her. I don't really care to.
That is what concerns me.
That I don't care to?
No, that we don't know her personally. We've taken upon ourselves this deed of showing her around the world while not once truly verifying whether or not she will be our savior or our condemner.
Yeah, you guys really make weird choices.
I feel that you were more outspoken on this choice than I was.
Was I? I don't remember particularly
Regardless.
swaying one way or another.
I fear that her brother is too much. What's that common word that you use? A loose feather, loose cannon. That's it. We don't know
Why
what
is he a
might
loose
do.
cannon?
He
Do you mean Rosania? Do you mean he's a liability?
Yes, that is a
Okay.
word we could use.
Loose
Liability.
cannon meaning like he might have anger issues or could go off at any moment. That's not what you mean. You mean that his intentions are unclear. Is that what you mean?
Yes, even though my semantics aren't quite up to match with your well-versed common, that is what I'm attempting to say.
I'm glad I can
fear that
translate for you.
the influence that his father or his grandfather may have upon him is dreadful. And Gia informing him that his father is so active around here, I must say it does cause me quite a lot of anxiety.
Rosania, and I'll gesture for her to like crouch down to get closer to me.
She'll crouch down quite a bit.
Are you suggesting we trap him back in the book?
No, not once I mention imprisonment. I'm simply suggesting caution.
In what sense?
Well, I fear that Torin and Henrik have very kind hearts, but that kindness is easily exploited.
It's true, we seem to pick up just about anyone.
Precisely. Myself included. I just showed up at your doorstep one day and you trusted me, which I'm thankful for, but I'm also wary that is not how things usually work.
What would you like to do about it? Perhaps is the better question.
Oh, I suppose I came to you for some guidance. I too was lost on the matters of my next decision.
Well, I suppose if I were you, God forbid, I would perhaps get to know her to maybe suss her out a bit more. You seem somewhat insightful. Maybe you could get a better understanding. As for me, I plan on keeping going until there's a quick exit. And then I'm off.
Well, note taken.
You have been
And
warned.
I appreciate your willingness to self-preserve yourself. But
Thank
lest
you.
we not forget that by yourself, that self-preservation might not be achievable.
I don't know. I've done it before and only one person died.
I think Rosania would, at this point, she would like speed up the step as she's gotten this advice from Sebastian and rejoin the group.
As we
What do you think
go
about-
as we go to rejoin, as we get closer, I will use a message to say to Rosania, do you think Kiavo actually has magic, or do you think he just has a lot of scrolls?
I would give you. She would turn around and say, perhaps whilst I get cozy with Gia, you should get cozy with Kiavo.
That sounds disgusting.
You're the one inquiring.
No, it was just...
I've done nothing but provide you with a solution.
That's not a solution.
Perhaps
That's
not
like
what you
saying
said.
to understand a disease, go catch the disease.
Rosania would really struggle not to chuckle at this one, but as she sees Kiavo right in front of them, out of respect for him, she won't laugh. But yeah,
I'll stop messaging now.
Yeah.
As you guys move through this very poor district, unlike outside, you are drawing glances, gazes, and notice. Mostly Torin, occasionally a bit of Kiavo as well. But mostly Torin is drawing glances and occasionally a couple of very rude stares. And a young child, about 7 or 8, who is a hold them.
Boy, girl,
Is a race.
elf, halfling, gnome.
Halfling?
No, it's not a
Human.
regular race.
Human.
It's a Githyanki!
Yeah, why not? Why not? She's changed to a Githyanki. I don't even think we allow Githyanki in.
I don't think so.
No, bear with. She's not an Argonian.
Dragonborn.
No, I know what you are.
Oh, okay.
Lizard folk. Thank you. Sorry, I could just, my brain was just going Argonian. Yeah, so he's a young lizard folk. He's about 8 or 9, 7 or 8 even, and he comes up and he sort of reaches up as if to grab at you, but can only reach sort of halfway up to your waist.
Can I help you, young man?
Will I be like you? I'm older.
I'll bend down, sort of try to get as to his level as I can. And I'm like, well, let me have a look at you.
Yeah,
like,
he's
grab him
sort
by
of
the
like
shoulder.
really gill-like appendages around the back of his head. And he also has scaled skin, but his is sort of green and almost black in nature. He's got almost reptilian, thin, slit-like eyes, and not much of a nose worth mentioning. He certainly doesn't have a sort of, I don't know if I described you as having a snout, but you've got like a prow, right, going on the front of your face. Whereas his face is, not like that. It's quite flat.
Yeah. Let me have a look at you. I'll sort of just like grab him by the shoulder and like check his like balance. Show me a muscle.
It's pathetic.
I'll grab his arm, try to feel it up. Yep. And all the while, do I see like some semblance of one of his parents around us? Oh, okay.
No. In fact, give me a perception check.
$18.
You see 2 other fairly dirty-looking children, a little away you, a little further over, who are watching very closely. They seem to be probably about the same age. One is a tabaxi, and the other one is.
Let me have a look at your teeth.
They're a little yellow, but they're very sharp.
Well, if you exercise every day, eat all your vegetables, I take it you could be my size.
Yeah,
what do you?
Occasionally, when we manage to.
What do you eat normally?
Whatever we can find, right? Dried meat. Sometimes the baker's nice and gives us what's left after the end of the day.
Is that right?
Yes. We're really lucky. We get information from Master Nikos. He gives us proper meal. Soup and vegetables and meat and all of that.
You and your friends there?
I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to make sure Lagon can see this interaction.
Yeah, okay. You slyly prop the hamster. Yeah. I'm alive. He's lying.
Of course you are. Well, and I'll sort of like reach into my little purse and grab 3 silver pieces, and I'll sort of like discreetly tuck them into his hand.
They disappear so quickly, you've got absolutely no idea where he put them.
Use that on some food.
You're awful kind. Thanks, mister. We'll feed us for
Welcome,
a couple of months.
Man. What's your name?
Never have names for these stupid races.
No,
let me open that document. What are we naming him?
Look up.
You always know it's going to happen.
No, I always have my list of names open, but my standard list of names only have humans, half elves, elves. That's about it, really.
Just take any of those and put a long sibilant S on the front.
4? No, he says, my friends call me Cassie.
All right then, Cassie, you take that. You get some good food. You eat healthily. And one day you'll be big and strong like me.
He sort of reaches up, and I'm assuming you're leaning down to talk to him and pass him things.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
sort of
totally.
pulls slightly at your chin, and he goes, "But it's real." And then he, and then he nods, and he goes to like scurry off and scarp off. And you do notice he meets up with his two friends and picks them. They disappear up onto a roof.
Yeah, I'll sort of mutter "good lad" under my breath and walk away.
It's your choice at this point. To your left is one of the more common workers' districts. To the right is the merchants' district. This area here. There are lots and lots of shops here, but there's also lots of merchant houses, lots of inns. This little area here is a little different. It's sort of another workers' district, but it's sort of foremen and builders and carpenters and more sort of craftsmen. They've got a little bit more money to them. But they still do general work in and around the city. Alternatively, there's the main thoroughfare, which is busy as all.
I think maybe we could blend in a little more around the merchants here. We'd look more like the sort of more regular.
Got more of an excuse to be there if anyone asks.
It's also true.
Duck across the road into the merchant's district. You see a very, very fine-looking woman. The Elven. Doesn't really belong here. She's wearing a beautiful sort of fancy, almost veiled dress. It's slightly see-through. It's gauzy. It's deep purple color with a green sort of silk in it. Sebastian, you would be able to see that it's quite an expensive garment. She's got a lot of money for being in this part of town. Walking a little way behind her, 4 or 5 feet behind her, but seems to be with her, is a brick shithouse of a Goliath.
Is that Galthak?
No, but he has this sort of permanent scowl on his face and huge shoulder pads. And he's challenging you close to. Once they pass, there's quite a gap in the road and you're able to start moving. You're just trying to be as surreptitious as possible and as quick as possible?
I think so, as long as we've still got the hamster with us.
Okay. As you get to the edge of the merchant district, you look across and there are some fairly nice noble houses. It's the edge of the nobility. It's probably the least wealthy of noble houses. Some of these aren't nobles. They're just very well-to-do merchants or artisans whose work is particularly appreciated. But there are now boulevards instead of, just standard roads. There's proper cobblestone on the intersecting roads. So between the houses, which isn't common in most of the part of the district. There are a few trees and a couple of gardens. It's not common to walk through these streets unless you're going to one of the houses. People would instead use the main roads around the house. Just passing you at the moment is a large pair of large wagons, one after another. One seems to contain freshly just killed carcasses of animals, perhaps hunted from outside the city. And the second one seems to have large sacks of something, you would assume some sort of food.
I would just like you to know, Torin, I really enjoyed what you did back there.
What's that, Rosanna?
With those kids.
Oh, yes. Children. We were all children once.
I know, but not all of us had the kindness that he presented to us as kids. So, yeah.
I just always like to return the kindness that was shown to me.
Shall we attend to our business then?
Yes, let's.
Do these carts have any kind of entourage or anything?
Yeah, there's a rather sort of greasy and sweaty-looking man at the front. His skin is a little grey-green in colour. Perhaps some orcish blood. And then behind the cart are 3 satyrs. One is sat on the back of it. Satyrs, if you prefer. 2 are walking behind. And both of them have long sticks with a sort of slight barbed edge to them. They're not spears. They're sort of... You would assume they're for moving animals, not for moving people. But they're just sort of swinging them like nonchalantly in front of them. Maybe to keep vermin away, or any sort of like street cats, or what do you call them? Dogs that don't have
Strays?
strays. Yes,
Strays.
stray dogs. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, or any stray dogs or anything. The carts are being pulled by a mule each, and the swarthy man at the front is pulling the reins that's leading them. They're creating quite a gap in the traffic, people, but also a bit of a distraction. They are moving north to south.
Well, I don't know that we can necessarily blend in, but we might not be the most interesting thing at the moment if we just want to head down one main block. People out here in the thoroughfare are probably less likely to give us trouble than some of these rich folk in their back alleys.
I think you might be right, Henrik.
So the plan is just to step in line behind them?
I think basically,
Seems reasonable.
but not like I'm trying to like
No.
be part of that, because there's
No,
not enough,
yeah,
peop-
yeah,
there's
we're
not
not-
enough people with them to sort of pretend we're with them.
Yeah,
but just
yeah,
to
yeah,
go,
yeah.
all right, we're just walking here while there's
Yeah,
a straight
exactly.
shot.
I'll take a stealth or performance check, depending on whichever you guys want, from each of you, just to see how well you sort of integrate in with the people. Sebastian and Torin, you will roll a disadvantage, whichever you choose.
I have advantage on stealth.
Then you'll roll straight.
It's showing me I have advantage on stealth. It may be from the shoes for like sound. I don't know that would apply to
It
this.
will definitely not apply.
Like we're trying to.
So you'll be rolling a
Let me just make
disadvantage. Stealth or
sure.
performance. I'm assuming you want to roll performance, not stealth anyway.
Yeah, moving silently. So it's probably stealth. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I have
actually,
advantage
no,
on
yeah.
performance, but with the dragons only. So
No, you're
unless
not
there's a
trying.
dragon around us.
That is the exact
Unless there's a dragon
problem.
around us.
And the reason you have disadvantage is that you are a large dragonborn, and the other
Oh,
one
no.
is a cat that walks.
Oh yeah.
There's an 8 for you.
Okay. Did anybody get below a 10 apart from Torin?
I got a 9, used one of my lucky, got a 9 again. Can I use another lucky?
So Sebastian, Torin, Rosania all failed.
Although
Rosania
sorry.
didn't make a check.
Oh, why?
Because she's not good at either of those things, but there is one thing she's good at, and it is being a donkey. So she will shapeshift into a donkey and blend in with those.
Okay, a donkey without any saddle on it, reins on it, a bit, no cart attached. Donkeys don't tend to walk themselves through the city.
And
I'll...
what
Do you want
about
to be
the
a
person? What
street
about the hand
dog?
you're carrying?
Do you want to be a stray dog or a you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Everything,
thought it would be
everything
cool to
they're
be a
carrying,
donkey, but I'll be-
everything they're carrying gets kept.
Right,
Including-
but the Duke,
Oh yes, you would have a hamster riding you.
I can.
Yeah, you can
Congrats.
pass off the hamster.
Yes.
Yes, you pass the hamster.
Alright, well,
Henrik.
I wanted to be a donkey because I thought it would look cool, but you make a very good point, so I would instead turn into a rat.
Oh, okay, great, easy. So as you turn into a rat and sort of scurry, perhaps even sort of on Torin's trouser leg or something to get through. Sebastian and Torin, as you step...
Sorry, just really quickly. One thing I can do is, because of my size, I can walk like under like on 3 people's legs. So I would try and do that also.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
train.
so this is 2 very different distractions. The first, when Sebastian, as you are noticed, at first one of the satyrs tries to sort of turn and poke you away with the barbed stick. He misses you by a mile because you're a very dexterous creature. But this sort of creates a little opening gap where for a moment you're just completely isolated. And you see a man with just lock eyes. He is elvish. He's wearing a strange, like, robe that has sort of a raised hood. And he's got a huge golden chain around his neck. Probably not real gold, but it's got a big blue gemstone, and he touches it as he looks at you. And you hear a voice in your mind. There's a...
I don't.
Oh, no, okay. You see that he is trying to communicate with you.
I'll allow it.
You hear a voice in your mind that just says, "You're a little out of town, Sebastian. Perhaps you wish to get to the Mages Guild. Ridiculous right now, and..."
Who are you?
Member of the Mages Guild. Correct,
Why are
I
you
would like to think.
a friend
And with
of
that, he
who?
lets out, he sort of waves with his hand, and a large puff of sort of red powder comes out the side of one of the carts, and immediately the attention is turned from you and your isolated circle to this huge puff of red powder, and then he sort of looks at you as if to say, "You're welcome." And you said, "Sorry, why are you..."
He said I'm a friend, and I said a friend of who?
Oh, okay. Friend of you all, I would like. Giving a lot of...
Do you want to escort me there?
And with that, he turns and walks away.
Oh, damn it.
You think that, with your passive insight, you think maybe he's taken a little bit of a risk there. Torrin, however, your problem is a little bit different. As you step out onto the road, you accidentally, as the group of you step in, you're sort of quite large, and the guy behind you sort of stops up a little quickly, causing a bit of a knock-on effect. There's a bit of a distraction. You see that the man not far from you is a city guard, sort of walking through the street, and he looks at you once, and then does that sort of moment, sort of just clears his head, and he turns around in the middle of the street and goes to walk the other way.
I'll just continue on my way.
Okay. Yep. The rest of you are having a little bit of an easier time and were able to maneuver along the street. And you find yourselves with the velvet glove. Just is it just a duck in there as quick as possible?
I think so.
Cool. Okay. And as you duck in the door of the silver glove, you just see this. If you remember the elf with her braided hair, side on one side, the woad that she has moves with her, and she sort of looks at you. Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Not a problem.
You haven't seen. And she reaches a straw and she pulls out a wanted poster. All 4 of your names are, 5 of your names are on it. And it is wanted for the abduction of Justin, Councillor Justin.
Who's Justin?
He's the one who you couldn't get out and you didn't try.
Yeah.
Who is Duke Lagon's man in the city, and it was going to be the man that Duke Lagon left the city to. And as that bombshell hits you, we shall take a short break. Hello, welcome back. I don't know what just happened with all of that technology. But nevertheless, we have made it into the Velvet Glove and discovered that the group are wanted for the abduction of Justin. Quick reminder on Justin. Justin is an NPC who you have met multiple. He was the court steward and chancellor, and he was left in charge in the absence of the Duke. It is him that was cast down and cast out by the Lagon twins. However, they kept him captive, not letting him leave the Lagon estates. I really, really want a picture of a woman, if I can find it. But in the
Upon
meantime,
finding
what we're
this
doing-
out, though, Torin will sort of turn to the group and say, "Oh, that must have been why that god looked at me strangely and turned around."
That could
A
be
guard
a
saw you?
And you were seen.
massive problem.
Good.
Did they see us come in here?
Yes. Did they?
I'm not sure he.
You know they did not, because they turned around well
Yeah,
prior
he-
to you being here.
he
So he
went in
turned
the direction.
around sort of here and went back that way before you'd got.
So we're on a timer.
Well, yeah, they still know what part of town we're in, and they're not fools, and they probably know that much as y'all here at the Velvet Glove would do a good job of sneaking around, I'm sure they have some idea that you're not their biggest fans.
On the contrary, I think they believe that some of us despise them and some of us love them. From
Oh,
what
alright.
they're aware, they believe there is a conflict. Fear and God. I, however, most definitely am a hater of. Nevertheless,
Could we insight that just in case?
yeah, of course you can.
Just I don't know. I'm after being put on a wanted poster, I'm paranoid.
It's true.
21 on my insight.
Yeah, she is not lying about hating them, but she's also not lying that it's all a front, right? They're not actually in conflict at all. That's just the image that they're giving out.
Yeah,
to the
that's what I
others, yeah.
figured.
She sort of tosses her hair back. You see this sort of leopard that is on the side of her head move with her as she turns her head. And she says, well, you're here now. We might as well get you seen to and at least find a way of you living a bit more inconspicuously.
Yeah, we need your top security situation for a certain matter of business quick as possible, please.
What precipitated your return?
We will let you know, but not in the lobby.
Well, upstairs, I think. Private room meal. Sort of clicks her fingers and two gentlemen come over and very quickly come up. Is this full council business?
It's whoever can be trusted.
Be the full
I know you
council.
believe that's everyone, but I mean, absolutely,
That will
without
be the
question.
full council.
All right.
After a moment, she leads you upstairs. Will show you to a very elegant room, sort of rich, gaudily embellished mahogany chairs sit around. Large, long table, glass top. A glass top in this day and age is priceless. There is a large.
So the wealth value is off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, there is a single large carafe in ice, and a second carafe that sits in the center of the table that appears to hold silvered goblets with jewels in them, worth a pretty. She gestures for you to take a seat at the table, and slowly the count filter in. For this. Now that we have their names, I really must get them on. Yeah, but in the meantime, yes, Rihanna, Melian, Estelin, Crane, Simlan, and Jalissa. And Jalissa is the one with the woad on it.
Nice.
I'm gonna write those down so that we have them. May even remember to put them on Roll20. them. So if you remember, there are 2 elf females, 1 half elf male, who is the really tall guy who's overly flirty with the open shirt, sort of a little too sultry. There is the 2 halflings, 1 male, 1 female, and Crane. Crane is, as far as you know, humanoid. He looks human, but you think there's more than meets the eye. Has unusually purple eye. He also seems to sort of be their de facto leader, when all is said and done. But the group kind of sort of filter in and sit around. And Rihanna, who is the young female halfling, who is usually the person who takes the lead in these sorts of conversations. So, news. News should be had over food. 1 moment, please wait for the servants to finish. And a large man walks in with 2 platters, puts them down, and there is a selection of cold meats and cheeses, and cured fish, some various different breads. And then when he leaves, you hear the turning of a key in the lock of the door. And Sal, who, if you remember, is the male elf, who's sort of all prettied. He's the male elf who's not prettied. He's the normal male elf. He casts the spell to silence the room. But yeah, effectively creating a dome of silence around. And then Rihanna looks to you. So what news?
I sort of look around because I think I'm still carrying the hamster at this point.
Of course.
Put Legon on the table.
Well, I'm not. I'll put him on the floor, but
Yeah, just place them.
look around at everybody else and just go, "Are we comfortable? Yeah. All right."
I suppose.
And I'll sort of move aside and clear my sort of space at the table and set the hamster on the ground and nod to Rosanna.
As Henrik gives me the nod of approval, I'll snap my fingers, and as I seize the spell, Lord Lagon appears.
Very awkwardly, he appears and he's licking his hand.
Apologies, side effects.
Comrades once. It's a pleasure to see you. Done well. Understand. Tells you, basically. Done well. He strides quite
Happy to help.
confidently to the head of the table, and Rihanna sort of awkwardly gets up and shuffles along, and he takes a seat. I was captured. Strange magic took me far, far away from home. Those that we love best betrayed me. Bodyguards turned on me. I believe it was their minds that were turned, not their hearts. Trustworthy men, one and all, as you know. I believe they're likely all dead by now. The rescue was facilitated by these brave and powerful. I believe that they have a plan to restore the seat of power for myself if we're all still willing. Velvet Guard immediately... the Velvet Guard, wow, that's a nice... the Velvet Glove all nod and sort of, prove that they're all well behind him. Lagon will very briefly explain to you that the Velvet Glove members here are almost all members of his own court, so they are his personal advisors, counselors. A couple of them are warriors he's fought with in wars, so like they're like his comrades in arms. He trusts them with his life. He sort of turns and was thinking that perhaps you might keep me here. And then as he leans over and takes some of the meat and cheese, in comfort, and looks quite pleased while I am at work. Henrik, it's yourself that had the plan. With that, he sort of sits back and starts indulging himself in some good fish.
Oh, well, I think plan might be a bit strong for it, but we have some idea what we want to try to accomplish. And now that you've returned and are ready to be revealed when the time is right.
I like that.
But to sort of turn to the Velvet Glove people and just sort of be like, now obviously some things have changed and we need to talk about the part that we already know, but just for the moment in terms of plans, when we were last here, you gave us the impression that if we had a rallying point, which I think we all in the room would consider we now have, at least potentially ready to go, that certain efforts could be made to turn things here in town.
Yes.
That's still the case.
Oh yeah.
Has it gotten much worse, or?
No, the town's in a little bit of the city's in a little bit of a state of flux, one might say. There are many that rally still against the twins, and there are many that take their side. Mostly the rich and those who want to keep their money. Powerful. A few of those do still stand aside. Your nobles are fickle as ever, man.
Well, I mean, best we've really put together is start putting the word out. I think we're going to talk to, not that they can do much, but to the queen and perhaps the king as well. Like, just let them know.
Appreciated. It's boundless.
Indeed.
But then among the other folk, sort of people in town or on the docks and some of the merchants and things, the folks that are good for it, let them know that things are coming, but also sort of put out the word just frankly to anybody to let them know, to let even our enemies know that support for the twins is not going to get them ahead any longer. And then start using a bit of magic and mischief just to cause trouble for those folk in the city so that they find their business interests and so on are stymied by their support. And hopefully that their support for the twins is shallow and keyed to their own gain. And when they see that's not going to be to their benefit anymore, they may withdraw their support. That is our hope.
I like it. A plan twofold. Firstly, to disrupt those that would oppose us and tell them that we are coming and they would do best to chain of command. But secondly, our return to rulership would coincide with a relief.
Yeah, exactly. We want to try to do as much as we can that is effective and yet stuff that we can stop pretty right quick when
I like the
when you're
sound of
ready
it.
to come back. That's pretty much all we got, to be honest with you.
But it is not all that we must do. And Rosania will slam down her wanted poster on the table, and she'll hold her hand over it and say, "It seems that our plans have been foiled, but I've been thinking. These posters might as well be the wolf biting at our heel, but we could twist them to be the wind blowing at our backs. Where are these posters produced?"
Every single one of them sort of turns to each other as if to go. Perhaps guess at either the Dawn Guard barracks or perhaps at the printing press in the Mages Guild?
Well, if you may all indulge me, I have two ideas. One, certainly frivolous and ostentatious, but we are wanted after all, and if Lord Lagon returned to vanquish the wanted people and reimpose Lord Justin in his return, the city would know that he is back and he would be at no peril. After all, he just saved them. Or we could access the print press and print news of his return. Inform everyone, unleash the news upon the city, and then enact the rest of our plans. Amidst the chaos, we might have a chance while the guards aren't looking for us and trying to keep the people peaceful. Either way, we need to deal with the fact that we have money upon our heads.
I fear the worst for Justin, Rosania.
Do you mean he's dead? Is that what you fear?
Yes, that is exactly what I fear.
I think some magical information gathering to pin some of that down is probably one of our first steps, yes.
If indeed is you who smuggled him out, which is what we had assumed. The
Unfortunately
reaction
not.
from the Lagon estates, according to our spies, was quite genuine. He was taken. And he did disappear.
That's so.
The shock
Hey.
from the masked mage at the magics preventing him from leaving, failing, was quite genuine.
I have.
That might be good news after all.
Sorry, go on, Jamel.
You know, we scryed, or rather, I scryed the Duke
With your little eye.
to find his location. Perhaps I could also scry Justin and find where he's gone.
That would be really.
Every one of them
useful.
sort of looks at you and like, oh, well, no, can you? It's well beyond them.
I
That's
can give it a
pretty
shot.
much
I've
what
got
I
the
meant.
ball, remember? So, I'll actually, you know what? I'll give it a shot then. I'll,
Bust
Go
out the
ahead.
ball.
yeah, bust out the ball and give it a
She sort of,
scry.
Rihanna just holds up her hand and it probably won't work in here. You might need to just stand outside.
Oh, you've shielded the room, I guess.
Oh, that is a glorious word for something I haven't done at all. This particular room has a guard provided by the Mages Guild against divine something, against divination. I don't know. I don't know if it prevents it from going out, but, well, worth not breaking it. Non-detectification or something.
Ah, yes, okay. Then I shall try
Just a reminder, Rihanna
outside.
has no magic about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
That's
elf
fine.
did.
I
The elf did do a
didn't mean-
dome of
I didn't-
silence, but that was a second level spell, not a.
Yeah,
not
well, when I
detective.
said you shielded the room, I didn't mean like necessarily her specifically.
Mm.
It was more so just like you had it done at least.
Yeah, well, if you, there's a room just across the hall. There's definitely magic going on in there, but I don't think it's particularly glorious. She will gesture, and in fact, the room across is a bathroom. She knocks on the door, and the servant unlocks the door and steps to the. You may cross over into the bathroom with a magically self-filling bath if you want to use it, where you may attempt to scry.
Fantastic. I will save the bath for another time. In the meantime, though, I will go
Can you
ahead
imagine?
and
Come on, let's go scry an hour later. What the fuck is he? You come in, he's full of bubble bath.
having a wonderful bath with my scrying
Singing
orb.
to
Just-
himself.
Yeah, no, I'll
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. I'll try to scry the ball.
Okay.
Let's see if I can actually reach him.
Yes, you do indeed see him. Don't recognize.
Now, the most important thing is, who is he with?
Yeah, as you look around, he seems to be a cage. It is a cage made of wood, and one of his hands is tied to the cage itself. There is, he's sat on a chair. There is a decent table of decent food on it, but he is in a wooden cage on the top of a hill. A green hill. There is a settlement a little way down behind him that you can just about make out. Not a place you reckon. You know it's in Jawston. You're just not sure where.
So it's somewhere in
When I say
Jawston.
settlement, it's like a bunch of tents. I don't mean like a house or town or village. Temporary settlement.
Right, and there's nobody else around. It's just Justin.
Not at the moment. It's just him.
Then I'll communicate through the ball and say, Justin, is that you? Is that you? You can speak. I will hear you.
I'm speaking. This is Justin.
Yes, hello. Hello, Justin.
Hello.
Yes, it's Kiavo.
Well, that's
We've
less interesting.
met.
I thought you might have been a god. Oh.
Well, I don't quite have that level of power.
I don't suppose you're coming
Regrettably.
to get me out, are you?
I would like to make an attempt when I can.
I'm not sure
What
this is
on earth
any
happened to
better
you?
than a palace. I was
What on earth
smuggled
happened
out.
to you? Do you know who by?
Yes. DM does know. Matthias Legon.
The Legons themselves smuggled you out.
No, just the one. His sister was furious. What I understand.
Interesting. Very interesting. Do you have any idea whereabouts you are? Or do you have no clue whatsoever?
Arse end of nowhere. A hill. Middle of the grass. Didn't pass any big settlements on the way. Maybe a couple of small towns. Southern Johnston, perhaps.
Okay. When I can, we'll have to try to find you because
I'd appreciate that. They're looking after me okay. The food's okay, but it's horrible when it rains. No roof on this thing.
Who is it exactly that's looking after you?
Paid most. They don't seem much. Come up twice a day to feed me. That's about it. No guard around me.
Right. Well, it's good to see that you're well. That's a relief, at least. Well, that's relative, I know, but you're very much alive and well.
Oh, I'm healthy, yes. Rather be unconscious, but apart from that.
I'll see what I can do. I'll try to come and find you when I can.
Okay. Bye!
Bye for now, Justin.
It calls out of nowhere. You scurry back across the hallway out to the bathroom.
Yes.
The door locks behind you. The magical dome of silence is put back up.
Well, what's happened, Kevo?
Well, it's not very particularly great news at all. Well, I should start with the best news in that he's alive, and he's as well as someone healthy really can be, but he's been imprisoned, captured as such, smuggled out the castle.
Who by?
And the odd thing is, he said it was Matthias who smuggled him out.
The crane, sitting sort of to the side, he looks up and, well, that explains one thing. Separate beds.
I beg your pardon?
On talking terms?
Separate beds, Matthias and Andrea. Sleeping in separate beds.
I wish that were not the thing that needed to be explained, but sadly we know that that was not always the case, I guess.
No, they obviously had a falling out. We didn't know why. This might be it.
Well, it was said that she was furious. That's what Justin reported.
Do we know, Lord Duke Lagon there, I mean, just from your knowledge of your own household, was Matthias especially friends with Justin, that he would have done this not because he's turned on the entire plan or operation, but simply out of fondness for his friend? All right.
What is his name? Justin was somewhat of a mentor to the children. Evandria did nothing but fight back against him, like his authority, but Matthias found great joy in the games they played and the distractions from his studies. Away from his sisters more bullying.
But then
I would imagine it was out of the fondness of his own heart, but then why put him in a... Because he puts the plan at risk, I don't...
All right, so there may be a bit of a wedge between them, and it's something, but he's likely still to oppose us at some level.
So this raises other questions. Since both the Lagons know that Justin was smuggled out, and both of them know exactly which one of the Lagons smuggled him out, why would they be scapegoating us for this?
Opportunistic, I would assume.
Easy targets.
Secret from the man from the last maid.
So many options.
You really think he's in charge of all this?
No, but perhaps they don't want him to. They're having problems.
They seem to be pretty fully under their control. I'm not sure.
Haven't realized.
Well, you don't have to confirm whether I'm right or wrong about that, but that's not an unreasonable feeling from the way we dealt with it,
No,
right?
not at all. Not at all.
That they are controlling the mage.
That was the impression you got.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I thought.
was,
Quite a
I was
short
under that
leash,
impression
yeah.
too.
Yeah, he doesn't entirely have full free will.
I lied to your own servant.
Rosania, be a doll and open that window and turn me into a bird.
There are Oh, exits directly from. Right.
This is not the sort of room that would have one.
This
No
is the safe room.
windows?
That's the safe room. Of
Yeah.
course, there's no windows where
Yeah.
servants.
Fine.
I
Oh,
would not
yeah.
have let them
Safer.
unhamster the Duke next to a window.
But they will gladly open the door. for
Hey,
you.
isn't that the Duke?
Oh, they'll gladly open the door for you. Yeah, two seagulls sat outside chatting about the Duke's the Duke's reappearance. Never seen a hamster do that.
Never seen a seagull do that.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to head out the head out the door and then turn into a bird.
Where are you going, Sebastian?
I need to go to the Mages Guild. They require my presence.
May I go with you? Not for the same purpose, as you might suspect.
For what purpose?
Well, the information we collected shows that there's a location where press is printed, and I think I can hold a heavy word on who's printing it.
I'll lean in towards Rosanna. I thought you wanted to make friends.
What do you mean?
With the Shia?
Well, she can come, but when the fate of the world is hanging in the balance of me being in a jail or not, I'd very much like to get my face out of this wanted poster. Not to mention, they got my eyes wrong. They're not this big.
If you say so. Alright, fine. Cloud is up.
Rosanna will very, flusteredly turn us into clouds.
What are they
Inside
doing over there?
building?
That's not.
Wait, why am I turning us into clouds? I can just fly us there.
That won't be conspicuous.
Where are y'all going?
Huh?
Good job, Rosanna. We're going to the Mages Guild.
Sebastian needs to talk to them, and I want to manipulate the press.
You don't want to finish plotting first?
We don't need everyone here for that.
And we've been plotting for weeks. I want to do something.
And what you want to do is, what? You're gonna try to get them to do something with the posters? I don't really quite follow.
Well, that's what she's doing.
I know. I expect you to run off and do something in the Mages Guild, Sebastian. I'm almost not even worried about that.
Oh, thank you, Henrik. That's almost the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Yes, Rosanna, do explain.
Well, it's just that this is the first time my face has been on a wanted poster. I don't like being wanted like this. I don't like it when people are lying about my name.
Perhaps
Well, my
if-
understanding is that having a price on your head isn't dependent on the papers announcing it. It's not like you're
But
going to
they should-
change the fact that the leadership of the city wants you in chains if you just, I don't know, smash a press or something like that.
I'll kind of scrumple up my wanted poster. Ugh, this is so frustrating. I don't understand how
Perhaps-
humans work. Why would they put my face on a wanted poster? I did nothing wrong.
Perhaps, Rosanna, if it is the Mages Guild that is printing these posters, you can ask them to magically alter them. Show completely different faces.
The drawings are pretty
Well,
terrible.
yes.
It's the names that are the problem. And the descriptions.
Or all.
And it would have to be triggered to change once distributed or something like that. I mean, people who want us locked up are not going to go around the city handing out leaflets that say we're good or say that somebody else is to blame. I mean, they're going to. It would have to be quite a complicated ruse.
Well, yeah, I suppose I am acting rather harshly, but I hope you can understand. This is the first time that something like this has occurred to me.
Well, we know that the folk running this city have been hurting people and lying about stuff for months on end, and or weeks anyway. The fact that they're suddenly lying about us is not my top concern, to be perfectly honest with you.
If I might, Melian speaks up and says, I got some urchins that I have connections with. They could be persuaded to vandalize the post. Write lies. The Duke of Lagon is alive. Other sorts of things. If you want to think of some slogans, I can have them vandalize the posters with those.
That might be quite effective,
Do
actually.
you want to announce that the Duke Lagon is really alive somewhere?
Well, I had thought of if Sebastian hasn't left yet.
I have to.
Oh, you need to get
I could.
Yeah, he needs to get transformed,
I
and Rosania's like,
yeah. I mean, I could brave the streets.
We
but
stopped
I'd rather
his
not.
ride. We stopped his ride, basically.
He just jumps
He's
out the
waiting
window.
to be a bird.
well, I
Well, I
think
had thought perhaps you could make some announcements up in the sky. It's useful probably for more than Tees and Kiava.
Wizard. Oh no, right wizard. Yes, sorry. Oh.
Right, wizard.
I think you might both have it.
I can do that afterwards.
Yes, perhaps actually, Henrik, this small gesture to precede a more grandiose one would be quite effective.
No, I agree. That's yeah. But in terms of just sort of announcing, I think we want to kind of maybe even put a time frame on it. Sort of, however let loose, whether in the sky or otherwise, just sort of, Lagon lives, disavow as there is oppression. You have 10 days or something like that, or whatever time frame we decide upon, so that it can sort of steadily weigh on the minds of people.
Perhaps some whispers in the ears of those loyal and some vandalism to proceed. And get that organized very quickly.
That sounds suitable.
Rosania, though, does make a point. Our faces are plastered on these posters. It might make it a little difficult for us to... Yes, I was going to ask, is there anyone who could help us with that?
There isn't anyone, but there's also anything. Helps. She gestures towards...
Torin be confused.
She gestures towards Crane. Crane will reach in his bag of... Oh. Things. If I can get this up. They are quite silly, but they're hats. Each one of them is sort of like a flat cap, and he'll start passing them round. Might use those. Alternatively, Melian has some. No, not Melian. Sorry. Jalissa has some excellent skills with makeup. If you wish a more subtle disguise, probably won't be as effective on elves and
Yeah.
Every single person at this table just sat there going, requires attunement.
I was more thinking, I already have a crown. I can't put
I'll
hats
pick
on
up the
hats.
face
You
paint.
can if it's a disguise. Hide the crown, hide the truth. Alternatively, go out as a bird.
We should.
Yeah,
Invisible.
Rosania.
Bird.
We should also.
When
If we're
you're
gonna be using
ready.
disguises, we should also consider pseudonyms as well, because if we were to ever be using our own names, that would automatically be red flags.
Oh, please, you're not going to talk loudly in the face of others, are you? How often do you have to address somebody by name? You really are new to
I
this,
don't
aren't
know.
you?
No, not to ourselves, but if
Yes, when somebody demands your name immediately, and you're just like, Sid. Yeah, that sort of
yeah,
moment.
exactly. Well, there's all sorts of moments. I mean, but it's
Devil's
just
right.
sort of
Let us all
thinking.
think of pseudonyms.
Yeah,
I
so
think
just
they
think
should
of
be
pseudonyms.
different every time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they get
and,
confusing, Henrik?
I don't have to remember who I was. I want them to not remember who I was.
I like that.
One of them. Anna just looks and hands you a piece of parchment upon which the top is fantasynamegenerator.com. It just says, choose these.
Right. Yeah. So, Sebastian, when you're ready, I can polymorph into a bird.
A bird that can fly, Rosania.
Yes. Just
Can you imagine? He
When you're
goes to the
ready.
window and he's just like, penguin.
Penguin, yeah.
Yes, that was exactly what
Do I even know what a penguin
should
is?
happen.
No.
I'm ready.
say the magic word.
Open sesame.
Oh no, it's just that this spell has a verbal component when I cast it on someone else, and the target must say please, and they must mean it, otherwise the spell won't work.
Please.
Can I incite that?
You don't need to. Sebastian is saying it because he needs to say it. Or
I will
perhaps-
turn you into a pigeon.
That's fine. Can I shit on her head? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Break my concentration. Go on.
Out the window.
Yeah, I'll just flutter off and make my way to the Mages Guild. Ideally, like if I don't know how long it'll take to fly there, but into one of the windows, and then I guess I'll just wait for Rosalia to
Let's say
You
like
can
before
send
you
a
leave, we
message, I
agree.
think. Can you still send a
Let's
message
just
to
say-
Polymorph for? No, probably not.
Let's just say before you left, I told you like I'll give you 10 minutes and then I'll stop concentration. Because we know it's nearby.
Yeah, it shouldn't take that long.
Yeah. So
As long as he
Go ahead.
doesn't lollygag.
Sure.
Alternatively, you could just fly into the wall really hard. Yeah, Pigeon's only got 1 hit point. Just a side note. And your own polymorph. But yes, you arrive at the Mages Guild, and we will leave you there for a moment. Marianne sort of looks over and I can't wait for the bit where it's sowing chaos. Sebastian will definitely be more useful then.
If you cooperate.
But it's more a case if he's going to start sowing chaos long before we start, so we might as well catch up with him quickly. Chaos is definitely the name of that one's game. So,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
vandalism, message in the sky, talk to some friends, wanted to speak to the dockmasters. Before you were talking about the arena, is that going ahead? Oh, arena! And she sort of taps the desk and goes, oh, names. Yorkrath. Looks at
Yorkrath?
Torren. Yes, competing in the arena.
Competing?
Something of a disagreement. I think coerced to compete is a better way of putting it. There's a fight tomorrow night. I don't have the poster up here. See it around. It's fighting the current arena champion. It's quite exciting. I don't think Yorkrath had much of a choice about it.
I
Came on
don't
behalf
think the
of
old
this-
man would be put himself up to it.
No, he came on behalf of the Silver Sword, Harbonden, to protest taxation. I think maybe some magic is involved.
Then we must pay him a visit.
Perhaps use the fight as a rallying point, end it before it starts, that sort of thing. At the arena. Up to you.
Well, I definitely thought substantial disruption to the arena was going to be an important part of what we're up to here. So maybe
It's
we have
definitely one
to
of the
get him out
fortresses of their
first
strength.
tomorrow, I guess, and then
I mean, the safest time to extract him is when he's standing in the arena floor, right? Only one other person. Would be quite the sign of revolution.
I think something can be arranged.
is there any way to get surreptitiously to a pretty good vantage point on much of the city? Top of a tower or something of that sort?
I've got a friend that you might be interested in. Just- Oh, wrong place. It's here, isn't it? His name is Torgeros. He is one of the higher priests of the Temple of here. No, wrong one. The Temple of... What fucking temple is it? Why does it just say temple? How do I do
I
it?
think it always has.
Yeah, I know, but who is it?
Maybe it's just a non-dis.
Oh, it's the constellation, isn't it? That's why it's confusing.
The god of bridges?
No, it's the constellation, is it? No, that's not right. I don't know. Where's Mother Pantheon?
It's a really liberal temple where you can just go and worship any god.
Yeah. It's the humanist.
Oh,
Very
it is
progressive
constellation.
of
Yeah, it
them.
is the constellation. So it's the full constellation, Andromeda, etc. Yes, he's a high priest there, but also a good friend. Sort of. You can tell
Well,
that she is lying. They are not friends at all, but he will do your bidding. Or their bidding.
Alright.
He'll get you in and get you to the top of the tower.
Well, perhaps a number of times over the course of this business, but
What's that?
well, most folk, everybody around here, even those of you who don't know me that well, probably know I'm not that huge a fan of cities, much as I'd like to help this one, and I think if I can get a look at it, and think and describe hard enough, I might be able to remake a substantial portion of it.
What do you mean, Heck?
Well, I can't really get rid of the building as much as I might like to, but can sure make them look different and bring in a little bit of natural terrain and ways of causing trouble. But I need
Perhaps around some of the more
good
troublesome
look.
nobles?
Yeah, if y'all can say, hey, that section of town over there is where all the bastards are at, suddenly that part of town is stuffed up with 4 foot of snow for the next while. That sort of thing.
He gestures on a map towards this area as being the main nobles, but she also obviously points to the Lagon estates.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
I thought you were just going to go 10 foot of plants, but
No.
snowstorm sounds even more fun.
Well,
Especially
yeah. So
in
the storm itself,
summer.
probably not, but
I was thinking overgrown gardens
Mirage
and,
Arcane. That's what I took from my
Oh, cool.
my new spell. So you can do a mile square, completely alter the terrain, and it actually has it touch and you can fall on shit, and you can create things where they weren't there, and I mean like a tree, and that tree is actually climbable, and so on. So
Nice.
and even like so I mean I don't want to cause too much trouble for the folk we're trying to help. And I know that disrupting business will do some of that, but I think it will faster hurt or at least piss off some of the folk making
And you
money
get
off
rid
of
of
it.
it
So,
when they come into power.
indeed, there's one version in a small area that I might have to do occasionally that grows the plants and they stay that way. That would have to be hacked down by machetes and so forth. But the rest of this is, although it feels real and can cause real trouble, it's illusory and will end.
Perhaps we could put some of the most annoying people to work at clearing the plants as and when I take power. Be useful.
Well, I have to say, actually, the weakness of this is that that your children can probably dispel it to some extent as easily as we can. There's going to have to be layers of things going on, but I think it can be part of the trouble.
They're going to be plenty distracted, though.
That is the hope.
Wanting my
but-
revenge for their interminable childhood years.
But just to be clear, I think like mechanically that's the way we would have to get rid of it early too. Like, so if I do it at the beginning of this and it lasts 10 days, fine, but they're probably going to get rid of it, or I want to change it. And if we do it later than that, when it comes time to end it, it'll have to be dispelled by us probably. It's not concentration, so I think the only way to technically get rid of it is to dispel it. Same as we were saying with the pass wall, right? Why Jamal had to dispel the pass wall.
Specifically, you said 10 days until we take that power.
Yeah, right. It's just if I would have to redo it because they get rid of it or something, then we would have to end it on our terms eventually too. It's a possibility, but yeah.
That's okay. I can come to power and say in 3 days' time the problems will cease. That's still the same. You can still
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it look like us.
Right. But yeah, I thought of even making the river impassable and that sort of thing, so that the business can't get
That
done as
would
easily and that sort of
cause the
stuff.
people to starve. Please don't do it.
Yeah, I had been concerned about that. So if we're not,
The rest, by all means. But river is... Without the river, the city is... it would collapse. And
Fair
it
enough.
is the common folk that would suffer first.
fair enough.
Something I
I might have something else that can help us, and feel free to pass on the suggestion. But how about we send the Lagons into a wild goose chase I could conjure Fae to summon hags that may take the form of Luke Lagon and just roam around the city.
Sounds fun.
Could use it as a distraction technique so that they are not in the areas that we are in.
But I'm not there, so never mind.
I mean, I've thought of a couple of things. We just want to make sure, I think, that in the end of this, people don't doubt that the true Duke has returned. That's my only concern. So even some of the other
Why not
things
have
here,
illusions of yourselves. No one.
that might be more useful.
That's a better
I don't
idea.
care what they think
And
of
more
us.
amusingly, perhaps even the Lagon twins. That'd confuse them.
Wouldn't it?
Have them doing
I
menial
like how you
work or
think.
assisting the common folk or something, or falling in dirty
Assisting?
rivers.
We want the common folk to despise them instead of assisting them.
Ah, you want them disliked? Well, they're already disliked. Have them falling in dirty water or something, slipping in puddles.
That's a brilliant idea. Something that will make the common folk talk.
Thank you. I'm full of them.
Embarrassing.
Rihanna sort of smiles and puts her
I
head
like
on her
her.
hand.
Oh.
But while that is happening, we'll switch to never mind. Carry on. He's not there.
I'm not
I just looked up and just.
Whoops. He'll be back in a second, I'm sure.
Here we
There
go.
he is.
Hmm.
Here he
Typically,
is.
Josh, I didn't notice you leave and tried to switch to you, and then I
Yeah.
realized you weren't there. But at the moment, we'll switch to Josh. Sebastian, as your pigeon expires, you find yourself sat on the edge of window ledge, a little high up in the Mages Guild. I need to call it the Mages Arcane. In the Mages Guild. What's the plan, Stanley?
I'll just climb into the room.
Sure.
And then see if there's anything magical about.
The entire place.
Like
You are
books,
currently-
scrolls, items.
Oh,
Where
okay,
am
you're
I?
just going on a thieving mission, are you? You seem to have entered into somebody's chambers. This is a
Ooh.
dormitory. There are 4 beds in here, two sets of bunk beds, with sort of curtains drawn over them. There is a small bookshelf next to each of the bunk beds, a couple of wardrobes, a desk, and then the door leading out into the.
Oh, they're probably students. They won't have anything
They are
worthwhile.
definitely studying members. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just leave.
Okay. You recognize where you are. There are people bustling up and down the corridor. You are in the residential quarters, where they also have the guest rooms. If you go down the stairs, you'll find yourselves back in the main lobby. If you go up the stairs, you can head up to the sort of lookout tower, so to speak.
Okay, where would I look for someone like who's in charge?
The lobby desk, one of the master's chambers, or the library, depending on what you want them to be in charge of.
Is there not like just a general headmaster?
The
Or is it
master's
like-
chambers are the masters here. If you're looking for a headmaster, so to speak, you're in the wrong city.
Ah, damn. Okay, then I guess I'll go to the
In
reception
fact, you're in the
area.
wrong country.
Okay.
It's a better way of
Well,
putting it.
I guess I'll go to the reception, and I guess I'll just explain to the receptionist.
Okay, so
What
as soon as you come down, there is a bushy-haired woman with sort of pince-nez glasses on, and she sort of looks over at you. She looks over at the wanted poster on the wall. Well, you're here, I suppose. Can I help you?
Hold on, the way you just did that, she's looking up to me.
Yes, she sat at a desk. Oh, I suppose you're very short, so she's looking straight at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I will dismiss her looking at the poster and not even bring it up. And I guess I'll just explain to her that I'm looking for this person, and I'll describe to her what the person looks like in the streets.
Hey, I wasn't aware that he was in town. I want you to come to the Mages.
Who is the he we speak of?
Erendrellin. No doubt about it.
Do I recognize that name?
Give me a history check.
Rolling so badly today.
Oh,
Oh, you got a 4.
Oh, that's pretty cool. If you when you usually roll the dice on Big B hand dice, like the hand comes and grabs it, but if you roll a nat 1, it flicks it away.
Oh,
So I don't
pretty
want
cool.
that shit.
Yeah. So with that one, you do not recognize. He'll look at you and, but he's a mage, but not a. I mean, I suppose by proxy he's a de facto member of the Mage's Guild, but it's not his main inhabitation. Find him next door at the Mystic Eye.
Oh, thank you. I'll go there now.
As you are going to leave, however, coming in the door is Serendran. But it looks at you.
Ah.
Oh, you got here a little sooner than I thought. Apologies. I wanted to meet on your ground. My guild are a little awkward. I have a. He sort of looks over and. Shyla, we'll have a room upstairs, please. Private. Over as if. Sort of tosses her a small pouch. He opens it. Very well, immediately. He will lead you up the stairs confidently as if he knows where he's going. Gesture into a small study room.
With the pouch, when he threw it, did it sound like, I'm assuming when she caught it or it landed on the desk, it made sound as to what's inside? Does it
Inside
sound
check.
like coin?
Inside.
Or is it like, I don't know, dragon scales or something?
Sounded
Ooh,
like,
21!
sounded like rocks or perhaps gems.
Ooh, okay. I assume gems are not rocks.
Yeah, I mean, if he threw a batch of rocks at her, you know what I mean? But it made that sort of like rock on rock sound, stone on stone sound. You would
Yeah,
assume
he's
gems
like,
or
I
something.
said, give me that room! Obviously, like a rock.
Strange thing for a mage
okay, yeah,
to do
that's
as power, but yes, he'll lead you up to study room. Gestures for you to take a seat.
I will do so.
He sits on a high-backed red leather chair. There is a scrying device at the center of the table. A large pool of water. But he looks at you and allows you to sit in the very comfortable armchairs. Well, glad to have you here. You disappeared out of sight a while back. I believe one could say you took a leap of faith. We saw it occur. Quite the portent. Tell us where you went. Very
Oh,
curious.
that was years ago.
Only months.
It feels like years.
It's just we've
It's like 30 sessions ago.
but we sent a couple of people into the lake afterwards, and they've just swam.
Oh, well, not everyone's as a gifted swimmer as I.
No, and not everybody's as gifted a mage either.
Oh, that's true. Thank you.
Very curious.
I'm
more than
yeah,
happy to
it
share
turns
some
out.
secrets in return.
Oh, I'd love that. What secrets would you like to share?
You first.
It took me to and wait, how do I know to trust you?
You don't.
I don't, right?
No.
So why should I tell you?
Well, first of all,
Apart
I
from
believe
the
that you're here to
constant
cast
comment.
down the Lagon twin. Knowledge of what they've been up to and their points of strength could be helpful. Secondly, I have a friend of yours who might be able to assist you in finding. Assuming that you are still just. And thirdly, you're curious.
Yes, I am. Okay. Like his impression is like he's complimented me a few times. He's A-okay in my books.
And just to reassure you, he will gesture out of nowhere, and 2 glasses appear, and or 2 goblets appear. He will pour you a glass of wine. Seems to have chosen.
Oh, I don't know about that actually.
It's a good vintage. You can smell it. He takes a sip from his.
Okay. I'll explain to him that it led me to an underground lair, so to speak.
One protected
Where
from
some
magic.
Yes, one where long forgotten people resided.
A long forgotten.
Yes.
The dwarves? Nobody ever remembers they exist.
Wow.
No?
No.
Who then?
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to tell you. Although, if you know anything about, if you know anything about what's happening in the world, there should be enough of a telling.
Lots of things happening in the world, including rise of the cult of Talona and lots of strange other phenomena.
The rest of the cult of the whom?
Cult of Talona.
Who's she?
She was locked away in time. It tried to happen. One of our most honored members lost her sight in the process.
Ah, yes. Yagra.
Well, no, I can't say I do know. A long forgotten people found beneath the ground.
Yes.
Were they alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know if you'd bust into a catacomb.
No, I absolutely did not.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anything else you'd like to know?
What was with the wax, Auralia? Josh doesn't know because you weren't. Sorry, not Josh. Sebastian doesn't know because Sebastian wasn't there.
Yes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, we didn't see you there.
But then why did you ask?
Well, I thought you might know, or maybe your companions had told you.
Oh, they don't tell me anything. If you say so.
He doesn't laugh, but I do. He's sort of a... Well, thank you. Should you have need of some assistance, or disrupting this city, as I think that's what you're about to do, is it not?
Wait. Why did you want to know about where I went to? Just curiosity? Then why?
Sort of weighs you up.
He rolled bad. That means he tells me, right?
He did roll very badly on his inside check. He sort of looks at you and... There are problems in the world, as you say. And
Yes.
it would be remiss of me not to point out that you are somewhat movers and shakers and
Thank you.
people that...
Yes.
Long have you been under the eye? That was one step we didn't understand. What's more interesting, you emerged with a female and a male. Male.
Well, you make it sound weird, like I gave birth.
No. The male is doing things that we would have previously believed impossible.
Well, like I said, long forgotten people.
Ah.
I'm surprised that you don't know more about what's happening, considering your clan's abilities.
We see importance and possibilities.
Not the I kind of muttered under my breath. Not the possibility of the Earth turning against us, but okay.
No. Well, anyway, the man you emerged with, that you brought out of the book, is causing trouble all over the place. Or solutions. Well, depends on how you look at it.
How much did you see? That's great detail.
Woman emerged from a book. Many of us saw. understanding and seeing are not the sides.
It seems that seeing is relatively fickle.
Yes, that. Well,
Well, anyways, I didn't come here to slate divination.
no. You don't. I don't suppose you're up for some thievery.
Well, wait, hold the phone. You said you'd share secrets.
I did.
So, Sharon? I'm assuming
For what you don't.
that it's not just the obtaining of a sack full of gems that gives you authority around places. It's like he threw a sack of gems
Through a
at the
small
reception.
velvet pouch. But
Okay,
like
well,
this big. Oh, yes, sack is a
still.
very glorious word.
Still.
Yes, no, I'm respected for my abilities. Regardless, secrets. The Legon twins are not particularly cohesive, right? Being on that one.
Like what?
They argue over the loss of a man, Justin. I believe one of the twins. Secondarily to that, their hold over their servants is not as strong as it might look. Perhaps it has caused great problems.
So they're having a lover's tiff.
Well, that too. Time or meant their hold over them.
What is your aim with everything that's happening? What's your aim with helping us?
Well, mostly to
What do
see
you
the
get
Duke,
out of it?
mostly to see the Duke and Duchess thrown down before they trouble for this. That would be the first thing. Is my home. And secondly, to see you succeed. I believe that the group of you are the best chance this world has. So, if I can give it, I would. And thirdly, I'm doing what I'm told.
Told by who?
The mother.
Didn't she die?
No, she just regained her sight and lost.
Okay.
She lost her ability to see into the future, and she regained her visual ability.
Yes, I remember that. I just also thought she
That
died.
was
But I guess
Bruno's
not.
face that was confused. That's why I was trying to fill in.
No, Bruno's face just clocked that the lady from the tent is their mother.
Yagra, yes.
Yeah,
Not literally,
sorry.
not literally.
No, I know, like Mother
they call
Superior,
her
like.
mother. Yes, exactly.
Yes. It is.
Sorry, I'm so gagged.
Why wouldn't the Mystic Eye welcome this conversation in their own home?
Yes. That is an very loath to. But that is the second part of this conversation. They'd be very fine with everything we've discussed so far, but I didn't know if you would. The theft. That's the
What
one
about
I
it?
have a problem with. I want you to steal something. Or for you.
Still what?
Prevent those who have it taking it. You've been to the library here, right?
In the Mages Guild?
Yes.
Yes,
There's an object there of great power.
I'm aware.
Maybe it's a lexicon. Some sort of key to the ancients.
Mhm.
There are mages. And there are the twins
Yes.
themselves, is it? I don't know what that thing is, but it sure as hell features in a lot of visions that we've had. Especially
They can't
about-
open it.
I'd rather not take that risk. Get it?
I know they can't open it. It's no risk. Yes. Because you need to go through some challenges in order to open it.
What if they just break it?
I don't believe that's possible.
Take that chance. Can you feel it?
Do you know how big it is? It's like the Eye of Magnus over here.
Approximately 3.5 foot in diameter.
I could try.
About the same as your height.
How exactly do you propose I steal this thing?
I don't know.
Right
There's all
under
sorts
the
of magic
mages.
about you, way beyond my comprehension. Yeah, but
Oh,
that's-
you're not
advantage.
you're not offering help. You're just suggesting we
if I
make
could
it
offer
disappear.
help, I'd do it myself.
Well, if we let's not go down that road with your fortune
We can
telling.
see into the future, but what we can't do is see what magic capabilities you have that you haven't shown yet. There is no mage, as far as I know, that is as powerful as you, with the possible exception of your compatriot.
Oh
But we
no,
didn't
he
think
just
he'd be
got
up his ceiling.
scrolls. He's a bit of a he's a bit of a hoarder when it comes to it.
We didn't think he would be willing to break the Mages Guild. Maybe he is, I don't know, but regardless, we know that you're not willing to comply to anyone's rule. Will you steal it?
I will think about it. I'm not quite sure if it's even possible. I will think about it. I will see if it's possible.
All I ask. We should get going. Have a good afternoon, Sebastian.
Sorry. You too. Whatever your name was.
Sarandrellin.
Sarah Drellin.
Yeah, why not?
Whatever
enough,
that
he
is.
says. And with that, we come back to the group in
The lines went straight to my head.
we come back to the group in the Velvet Glove. And Rihanna looks at you all, and well, that's a lot of talk of chaos, but we should get out and do so.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to start by just checking in with the royals or what, but otherwise.
If you do want to get into the Royals, I have a smelly entrance that you can use.
Fine by me.
This is the key, and she hands it to you. The entrance is just behind the Temple of Soon, a little way from here. Here. That's the sewer entrance. Head down the tunnel, take a left and then a right, and it is the third ladder. Down the tunnel, left, then right. It's a sort of wiggle, left, right. And then take the third ladder. You'll find yourselves in the palace gardens. You'll be able to enter from there.
Very fine.
Please don't lose the key. I don't have a call.
Thank you.
If you do plan on all going, it's going to be a tight fit for you.
I see.
Absolute. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you can just make yourself smaller. Don't forget your hats.
I can.
Happy chaos.
Thank you kindly.
To the Duke Lagon.
To those. To the Duke.
There is any.
Do we actually have to attune to those?
You want to use them?
Oh fuck! To the loot! To the Duke!
To the loot!
Yes, to the Duke.
To the
Duke!
loot!
To the Duke!
We're gonna get another bard.
The loot.
One final concern does occur to me. This is going to be a several-day process, and we're going to need a place to stay. I'm not sure it's wise for us to constantly be coming back here.
Well, it's funny you should ask. I do have a friend. This one is a friend. Yeah. Get you some very comfortable. A little
I
further
suppose if
across
it has
town.
to be nice.
Well, just gesture. Oh, Market Street. Just here is a large establishment. The most excellent. Come on. Page isn't loading. It's a tavern. Really nice. That's all.
That's fine. I mean, unless other people disagree, but it seems to me if the Duke is
No, I
going to
agree.
be hiding out there, I don't want to be drawing too much attention
Yeah,
to the place.
exactly. Even if we are going to be disguised, maybe.
I think if we're starting our mischief, I will then cast Conjure Fey and send them to the complete opposite side of town to do the most embarrassing and unthinkable things the Lagons could ever do. And I want them to make it very loud that they're incestual and that they love each other more than a brother and a sister should. Because that's weird. Why do they do that?
It is the Gilded Goblet.
That's why they do that.
No, I'm just letting you know where you're staying.
Leave it on the
I
drink.
do believe that their bid habits are quite well known. They don't hide it very well, but nevertheless,
Christ.
you
Been
can-
alive for 600 years, and I've only now encountered incest.
Melian sort of looks over at Bran and sort of, well, elves I know are. Melian is an elf. Yeah, we don't have a huge amount of variation. Everyone's related to everyone, but brother and sister is a little close.
Know where I'm from. No, not in my circle.
Druids don't do any of that stuff.
No, we're all asexual.
Better than the animals. What a wonderful note. Should we end there? Let's end there.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's a good one.
But yes, as you go out to spread chaos, reunited with the great Sebastian, out of pigeon form. Actually, that's a question. How the fuck is Sebastian going to get from the Mages Guild back to you?
Oh.
I mentioned door, maybe, I don't know.
We'll
Does he have
find out
invisibility?
next
We
time.
will find out next session. But in the meantime, we
Will
can
he get
timeless
back?
tradition of MVPs, and I will start where I finished. And I believe that was... Did I start? Ah, yes, I started with
Started
Kids
with-
Bruno, so I must have ended with I ran out of slang Joe died. Joe, your MVP.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I'll have a few. If they don't get mentioned, I'll throw back at the end real quick. But I really liked the canal in the Poor District,
Oh, cool.
like the weird like sort of like communication and sending stuff along canal there. Because I was just first of all, it was like, okay, this is a good detail, but I thought it was just like they're like, you know, shitty sewer. You know what I mean? Like this is flavor for the disgustingness of the district, so it's already got that level. But then like, oh no, there's this whole other layer on top of it. So,
Just to let you know, because it's probably not going to occur that much, but in my head, it goes the whole way around the city in a square, and it
Right.
travels clockwise quite quickly. And it's actually
Right.
being magically pushed along, and it's basically how then messages are getting passed constantly, and
Yeah,
little
yeah.
parcels and stuff like that, and packages as part of the courier
It's like
system.
the stupid lazy river at a water park that just goes around and around and around
Yeah,
and
exactly,
around. But
except
you
this
can
one's
use it for
fast.
stuff. It makes sense. Yeah.
Right, good. I'm really glad you like that. Lorvalen is the first thing I created in Beldania. I then had to draw the river through the island to make sure that it made sense, and then went from there. It started with just a city. Originally, Beldania, the campaign was meant to take place only in that city with the politics of Lorvalen, and the Duke and the Lagon twins, and then the campaign sprung up over the top of that. Yeah, I'm really glad you liked it. A little bit of an insight there behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Next up is not so based Rico, your MVP.
I have two. If I can take two. I really enjoyed the interaction with the little Argonian boy.
Yeah,
That was super cute.
enjoyed that.
But the real one was during our like whole conversation with the Velvet Glove, and Sebastian. She's like, I gotta go, and Rosanna followed him, and then Joe's just like, where are you guys going? Like,
Yeah. Like they were really recalcitrant children
Yeah.
who were just running off on their own. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a second, nobody said you could leave
Yeah.
the table. We're not
it's like,
finished,
where are
did
you going?
When
No,
no
it's
one
like,
else
but-
followed me.
And she's like, no, but yeah.
Where are you going? Yeah, exactly. I love that. Living his best life, Jamal. Your MVP, please.
I'm gonna have to also second something a little bit adjacent to what Rico said here. The generosity of the party in the first moments. Giving the gold to the guy who's like, you saw nothing, and to the kids.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we had to.
I've also got to give a quick one to finding out the exact same info basically that Sebastian found by scrying myself. The same info as what the other people had scried, and then told him. It's like,
Yeah, sorry if
Oh.
that made you feel a little less, but obviously the whole encounter with Serendrellum was created, and then you scrying just kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, you're going to find out the same information. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing.
it's like,
to
oh shit, we all
Yeah.
came to the exact same conclusions,
Well, yeah, it
the
would've been
exact
much-
same answers, because
Much
we're all
more
on the
fun
same
if we had come
page.
to different ones.
Okay.
I believe it is Fluent in Gay Josh next.
Yeah, so my MVP, I really liked the conversation with Sebastian and Rosania. It was quite nice getting a bit of more insight as to like how Rosania is thinking within the context of the group dynamic, and and kind of challenging what the team does and being like, you guys just pick up people and you don't trust them and you don't know if you can trust them. I quite like that.
Yeah, definitely. And damn the kids, Bruno.
Thank you, Josh, by the way. That was also one of my MVPs. I took pleasure in that conversation. I thought it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more. But I mean, you guys pretty much mentioned everything I was going to say, like the charity, all that kind of stuff. But I really enjoyed how we all sort of shine in different aspects, like Henrik with the planning. It was really good seeing you like take that lead and just lay everything out. But something that I really, really enjoyed as well was when Chiavo opened that hole in the wall. And I thought that was impressive on its own. I was like, whoa, Chiavo can do that.
Actually, that was really cool. Yeah, absolutely.
But then when the poor person, when the beggar, I believe, looked at us and he was like so shocked. I was like, oh my God, they're going to recognize us. I didn't even clock that Chiavo had just opened a magical hole in the middle of nowhere. Yes. And that's why he was so shocked.
Yeah, that was definitely. I think it was really good today, seeing people shine in different ways. Sebastian's always got a magical solution for everything, right? But it was really nice to see actually he used Rosania's magic to get.
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
I like that too. That was really sweet. My MVP was also the conversation of Rosania and Sebastian, but for all the wrong reasons. So we had Sebastian say, "When I get the chance, I'm leaving." We had Rosania say, "I like the way you self-preserve yourself." That was lovely. I liked when Josh said, "Should we just imprison him back in the book?" And most of all, when you said, "Does Chiavo really have magic or just a lot of scrolls?" That was just such classic. And it was like 3 levels of interwoven, right? Because first of all, we're bullying Jamal, which I'm always behind, right? Second of all, there's this disdain that Sebastian has for like the sort of, not that he doesn't do the learning, but for having to do it all by the book, right? Whereas he prefers the more natural approach. And thirdly, there's this disdain for sort of Chiavo as a whole, like from Sebastian's perspective of like the less powerful wizard in the group, right? So it was like 3 levels of disdain, and I just thought that was fantastic.
Plus, because he's Order of Scribes, it is really all written stuff. Like he's just getting his information from the book and from the written things down, like he does it.
In a way, I guess, like, is he really any use, or is it just his really powerful spell book that who's his friend, right? But you just took it one higher level and was like, does Chiavo even have magic?
Wait,
I just thought that was hilarious.
We think Chiavo's the least useful one?
But Sebastian believes that Chiavo is the lesser of the wizards, right? Compared to himself.
Well, I don't know about magic power, but in terms of like willingness to be useful.
Oh yeah, definitely at that point. Sebastian is 100% the most useful person to Sebastian.
And nobody else.
So to everybody else. And he's perfectly fine with that. Joe, you mentioned you might have a couple more. Is there anything?
Oh, yeah. I think they didn't really come out. Well, people talked about Torin with the little kid, but the specific thing I liked about that was, and it may have been a choice, or it may have just been you took it differently than I did, but when the kid says, like, am I going to be like you when I grow up? You completely took it as, will you be big and strong?
Yeah,
right. I was like, that. Instead of the mislead of like, well, you're not going to be a dragon because you're a lizard person, right? It was just perfect for dealing with a kid, which is always also funny in the meta level because you've just had a kid and all that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But on top of that, it fits with your oath because you're like all about being big and strong, you know what I mean? So it was really nice. But then the final thing,
I'm going to give you a peek behind the scenes here. The boy coming up and speaking to you knew he was never going to be like. Mm-hmm. What he was meant to be doing was distracting you so his friends could steal from him. But in your gentleness and your generosity and your touching his heart, he called them off. And he didn't let it happen. And I changed that whole scene because I just thought it was so wonderfully orchestrated by you. And again, like Joe said, like taking it a different way and being like, instead of going, no, you can't be a Dragon Ball because you're a lizard folk or like anything like that. Yeah, beautiful. Really,
You hustled the hustler.
Sorry, Joe. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'll just end it on a much less touching note with my last favorite one is I really like the soundscape stuff, and we were just walking on the street at one point, and for some reason, like, my volume's not that high, but this chicken went off like really loud in my ear, and it's like
really loud.
so
I turned
perfect.
down the sound.
Yeah,
I
it was like a quiet moment, and there's just and it was like perfect.
I was like, shit, that's loud. Yeah, it's because it went from City 1 to City 2, and City 2 hadn't had its volume balanced, so this chicken just squawked, and I was like, well.
It was perfect, though. I felt like I was in a stupid medieval street.
Yeah, it makes sense. However, that is where we're going to end. There is a distinct possibility we don't have a session next week, but we'll talk about that later. But in the meantime, if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We shall see you soon.